Anthony Albanese has locked in a one-on-one meeting with President Trump on the sidelines of this week's G7 summit in Canada. This marks the first time these two leaders have come face-to-face, and the stakes couldn't be higher. From stabilising the AUKUS deal to stabilising the Middle East, our Prime Minister is under great pressure to put Australia's best case forward. For more, we're joined by Arthur Sinodinos, former Australian ambassador to the US. Good morning to you.
Hey, Natalie.
Let's start with the most pressing issue, I guess, on the agenda, the Middle East. What role do you see Australia playing here?
Well, we won't have a direct military role. Diplomatically, we're asking everybody to de-escalate. That's not going to go down with people who believe that Iran is a danger to the Middle East and clearly a danger to Israel. But we're threading a path through this because, frankly, there are dangers in escalation. If the petrol facilities or petrochemical facilities get hit, if US bases get hit in the Middle East, and then you have the prospect of the US retaliating, it becomes a big thing. It impacts oil prices, it impacts on energy supplies being available. So there are big global impacts potentially on where this is like a ricocheting bullet at the moment, right? We don't quite know where it's going to end up. And we don't know to what extent Netanyahu, if he's determined to finish the job, which he wants to finish, really has the capacity to take Iran out. The danger is any facilities that are not taken out, are they then the basis for Iran trying to become nuclear again and retaliating?
OK. That sounds worrying. Let's talk about the AUKUS deal, which, of course, we know Anthony Albanese will be talking to Trump about. The Pentagon reviewing that deal. Will it survive the Trump administration?
I believe it will. There's a lot of bipartisan support for the deal from day one in the Congress, both Republican and Democrat. I mean, Trump himself, I think, would see that we're pulling our weight. We're going to spend, what, $370 billion on AUKUS, Pillar 1 and Pillar 2. We're putting money into the US. $3 billion, $500 million already. We're putting money into the UK industrial base. So we're doing what he expects allies to do. Now, there is a separate debate about whether spending overall on defence should go up. But I think it's right to say, let's work out what it is extra we need in concert with the Americans before we work out what the figure should be.
OK, what about this this clause that is, it's a get out of, well, you did the deal, you know. There is concern that if the US isn't making enough of their own subs, they don't have to give us any.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that right?
The President has to certify that this is not impacting the US industrial base. But what is happening in the US is the Navy is putting more money into the industrial base to accelerate the rate of submarine construction so we can meet that timeline. And also, from the point of view of the Americans, the Australians and the UK, we went into this to have a deterrence effect on China. So if we look at any stage like we're second-guessing ourselves or we're not committed to really doing this, we're not serious, the Chinese will say, well, look, at the end of the day, they're all paper tigers. We don't have to worry. We can just keep pushing what we want to push in the Indo-Pacific, and these characters won't really push back. OK,
I'm sure we're serious, but was that a silly clause for us to put in? Was that a wrong move then?
I think
that may allow Trump to not go through.
That was a clause that had to be put in because the President always has to have national security as his first priority. And so it was something that was important to make sure that the Americans, the Congress, everybody understood that this will not be at the expense of America's capacity to have capability available.
Could we end up with no subs, though?
No, I don't believe we will, because I think the Americans see that by having more subs actually built in the region and being serviced in the region, that enhances their capacity to do things in the region. And that's what Trump and the Defence Secretary Hegseth have been talking about.
So you stand by your deal?
Absolutely. Okay. No plan B.
Okay. We don't need a plan B.
That's right. Not for turning.
OK, there you heard the man. Thank you very much, Arthur. Here's Sheva.